Good news to those of you who don't really care for these Suplexing4Rinoas. This one will be short. Mostly because, A, I was in a call with a couple of people watching this with them, Vexper, Dracus, and Husbando Goddess. The second reason is there was only like 5 matches on the card and it ended, I think, like a good 20 minutes, like a half hour before it would for like a 3-hour thing. But it's SmackDown and they know less is more, so honestly, Backlash was a total success. Not total success, but anyway, I'll get to that. This match, like, you could have just put this on the main show instead of the pre-show. I guess they wanted, like, a match on the pre-show. They only had the one. But yeah, it's Daniel Bryan trying to get Apollo Crews to be a little loose out there, and in comes Baron Corbin, who did in fact beat the world champion Dean Ambrose on SmackDown. Disqualification, but he beat him. He was like, why do I not have a spot on the pay-per-view or something like that? And Kalisto, like, ducked the last one. I forget exactly what he said, but it's like him trying to punk Crews while he's sitting over there. He's like, thinking he's like a joke. So they put those two together in the pre-show, and I asked this on Twitter why it wasn't on the actual show. Like I said, you only had the 5 matches booked, so I was like, hey, this SmackDown pay-per-view is also go 2 hours? 3 counting the pre-show. Which is, of course, half the time SummerSlam took to go through from start to finish. Christ. So this was like a breath of fresh air, believe me. Enziguri moonsault combo, and Corbin just kicks out at 1? Like, holy shit. And then we get an Olympic slam for 2. Deep six from Corbin for 2. Samoan drop, Crews to the top rope. Baron spoils that. End of days, Corbin wins. I don't think anyone's kicked out of that yet. At least on the main roster, I'm not sure. Women's wrestling, let's do this. Yeah, it's like a 6-woman elimination match. Naomi has turned face and gone array-a-a-a-ving. Like, good lord, that one SmackDown, I couldn't, like, directly look at her because he was so shiny. Too much. Carmella turned heel on Nikki Bella the SmackDown after SummerSlam because, I don't know, it gives her something to do. Alexa Bliss kind of looks like Harley Quinn meets Juliet Starling and, like, OD'd on them little, Smarties candies or something like that. Like, it's like the pink and blue. This is a good look, which I thought was a cool look. Again, she just needs she is sadly the first to be eliminated after a pretty good showing by all. Yeah, we get to see them like wrestle. It's like, all right, now let's take this one home and start eliminating people left and right, because it's like Alexa Bliss gets eliminated first, then Naomi to fall after immediately tapping the sharpshooter from Natalya. Like, she's barely in there for like a second. Wow. So my 2 favorite picks were like gone, and it's like, oh, it's down to Becky now, who's overdue. Natalya, who's also way overdue. I think where the consensus of the chat was like, the call really was like, anyone but Nikki. She takes out Natty with a backbreaker type of maneuver. Like, I guess that's her new finish. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I thought it was like the rack attack, but it looks a little different now. It's a little more devastating, a little more spin to it. She gets taken out by Carmella. Down to Carmella and Becky Lynch. Double Beckplex. Carmella gets her shots in. Becky gets the disarmer. Becky wins! New SmackDown Women's Champion! Like I said, long overdue. Although we were curious who she would fight next, because it's going to be Carmella and Nikki for a while. I guess Natalya or Alexa. I would like Alexa, because Alexa's awesome. Definitely needs more matches to prove that she's awesome. But she's like she was like the Dana Brooke that made it, kind of like Dana Brooke's just been like, I thought it was like really cool, like she was hanging out with the club all of a sudden. I'm like, oh, this could be really interesting. And then she's back with Charlotte getting punked out. Getting punked out by Sasha, who did the Mark Henry, like, fake retirement angle? Heelish, kinda? No. Like, I thought that would work better if we got Charlotte out there first, but I guess maybe Charlotte's like, I don't trust this. Dana, how about you take the bait on this one? Or Dana just went out there on her own to prove it, but she was like, I think she was trying to land Charlotte, but got Dana instead. I think that was her plan. So that's my take on it anyway. But anyway, Randy Orton last pay-per-view got busted wide open hard way by the Hurricane Lesnar. So we see Bray Wyatt, his opponent for this pay-per-view, just jump him in the back and hurt his leg in the door. The Usos, meanwhile, have turned heel as well, and also ghetto, and more like if Roman Reigns' wardrobe fused with Seth Rollins' frame. There was a tag tournament to determine new champs. Last Smackdown, American Alpha beat the Usos in what I described as, I looked at Twitter for 30 seconds and missed the whole match. And then the Usos just turn heel on these guys, and they straight up kneecap Gable. Like, they have this new thing that they've been doing, and they do it in these matches too, and it's like they've been taking a page out of the Revival's book on how to be like an awesome heel tag team that just murks everybody. I'm just like, oh, it's great. Like, they'll go for, like, the knee, but it's, like, the back of the knee, like, the other side of it, like, where the leg meets the thigh. It's, like, that connected there. Just bam, right into the... Oof, that's gonna suck, too. But, yeah, they take out Gable because of that, so even though they won their match, they're not in. And the Hype Bros have made it to the final as well. It was supposed to be the Hype Bros in the finals versus the other team. It's been, well, I'll get to them in a minute. But yeah, the Hype Bros have been doing, which, again, we were all kind of, a little about because we were, just as Zack Ryder was trying to become his, established single star, now Mojo Rawley comes in. That's why we keep waiting for a heel turn for Zack Ryder to just give him something, and he shows up with Kurt Hawkins, who's going to be on tomorrow, not tomorrow, Tuesday, so rather. The return of Kurt Hawkins with them Chuck Norris factors or something like that. I'm like, people have come back with worse. Yeah, it's what you do with it, And Kurt Hawkins with I hope he brings the cane back because he looked like such a boss. Like him and Tyler Rex. What happened to Tyler Rex? Isn't he with the Cabinet in Ring of Honor? Is that the same guy? So yeah, the Usos take them out, so since Alpha's not here, the Usos get a second chance at it. So the winner of this match gets to face the unlikely team of Rhino and Heath Slater, who, if the latter wins, he gets a contract. Fucking Heath Slater, man. He's just been this dynamo on both shows because he doesn't have a contract. He's trying to get it, so he gets on both shows, and now he could be tag team champion. Usos just look like what Vexter described. Like I said, he described them as put Roman Reigns in the Seth Rollins frame, and they're heel, they're back in black, they're not wearing pants, so they gotta change their, they don't have the Titantron match. They probably will by Tuesday. But they kick the other side of the knee where the leg meets the ankle, and they have a submission now, and it gets them to the finals. I'm like, oh shit, man. The Usos finally got more going for them than just being entertaining, kind of. They're like London and Kendrick, kind of. They were entertaining and somehow get the longest reign ever. I feel more for this man than words can ever say. Because later he's hype before the match. They get their interview, and it's oh man, I'm pooping my guts out because I ate bad imitation crab from the missus. And I'm like, ooh, you don't want to eat bad imitation crab. I mean, I do like that stuff, them little crab sticks I get all the time. But anyway. That's why I said I was feeling ooh, never would eat bad. Never eat bad seafood in general. Seafood's the worst with that. Any bad foods, but seafood and just ooh, that could be dangerous. Better stick to the easy cheese. That don't go bad, I think. Anyway, Intercontinental title match between Ziggler, who totally lost his last pay-per-view and got in the face of The Miz, who in turn really wants to boot the shit out of Daniel Bryan, because Daniel Bryan was on Talking Smack, told The Miz when he came on there, he was like, you wrestle too safe and you're a coward, and Miz snaps and yells at him for being kind of a know-it-all prick and demanding more respect as your Intercontinental Champion. It's the continuation. I like the continuity. At the beginning, Daniel Bryan was just well, we need the Intercontinental Champion. We gotta draft this fucking guy, The Miz, who made my life hell on NXT, and now it's now it's come full circle, because now, Daniel Bryan's the authority figure now, and now he's throwing it back at The Miz, and The Miz is, now he's the kind of the underdog in a way. Because now it's Daniel Bryan, and that's the final say for these matches, and before this match took place, it was Daniel, but anyway, it's a lot. They were Talking Smack, it was they just did that 3 weeks ago. He's you call me a coward, you tell them and you're gonna come back and yet you're still here. You want to go wrestling, just go elsewhere. Instead you take you take the easy way, you take the safe route, you take the paying gig for the authority figure. You could go somewhere else that would like with a, I guess that's what he was going for. Like, like, why are you still here? Why don't you just like go back to the Independence or something along those lines? And like the truth hurts a little bit, and Daniel Bryan just like leaves off his like, and he's like, dude, come on, and like I'm like, no, keep this shit going. Like this is what like. Where was this Miz like those other 2 matches that like, ooh, because that thing with Darren Young would like, ugh, that was pretty bad. And this wasn't, because it's the Miz who's once again becoming the guy he's trying to bring. He's like the upteenth guy, like trying to bring relevance to the Intercontinental Championship again. But yeah, all of a sudden, like Daniel Bryan, like that's the match they want to do, but they can't clear Daniel Bryan. Like it's like. It's so clear that's what we're working towards at some capacity. I don't know what they're doing. He's not wrestling, I'll tell you that. But they do that like WrestleMania, like he gets cleared. It's like, oh, the crowd's gonna go nuts. Like he comes back for one night, recatches the Intercontinental Champion, like just one night or something like that. Like I don't know. I doubt it. That's very wishful thinking on my part. But yeah, it's like the match they wanted to have, because then there was like the following SmackDown where it's like Shane was like to Daniel Bryan, he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, man. You shouldn't have. And Daniel's like, all right, I won't be honest. And it's like, that's easy talk coming from a guy who's got a feud with Lesnar, or at least that was dropped too, probably. I don't know. Like SmackDown was like, we're gonna get something, and then was like, yeah, you know what? No. Because the Authority figures, we're not going to take up the show, even though they took up, like, the beginning and talked about, like, the women's match beforehand. I forgot to mention that. I won't mention the, what's his name? Jagger Eaton or something. Or I think that's what his name was, because everyone was making, like, Bobby Eaton jokes. I'm like, yeah, Bobby Eaton. Beautiful Bobby Eaton. Wasn't he Sir Bobby Eaton, too, with William Regal? Like, I wish I knew more about Bobby Eaton now. Like, he seemed like he was, like, a cool mid-card guy. I don't know. I didn't watch much WCW at the time. I'll probably like show me a best of Bobby Eaton. Maybe I'll look it up. I did see like because someone talked about it, like the whole I wanted to find out the Lawler my ass, like I think it was like the first empty arena match. I was like, wow, 81 out. I don't think I was even born back then. Who knows? Dolph Ziggler, he had a follow-up match on SmackDown, because AJ was in the locker room crowing that he's out here, AJ Styles, who beat John Cena. He's like, hey, I'm the guy now. And he's like, oh, what's the matter? He gets the Dolph Ziggler, who's just like sitting there sulking. He's just like, oh, what's the matter, you quitter? You pussy. And it's, they start throwing down, and that they lead to that like that SmackDown where it was a number 1 contendership for the title, which AJ won. So even the pre-show panel talking about this match pretty much said the Miz was gonna take it. Like. And anybody else familiar with the WWE product knew Miz was winning. But a great match is a great match. And it just proved the naysayers of Dean Ambrose facing Ziggler last month in the match being okay. Like, not super great, but still good enough because it's Ziggler, and he also wrestles his ass off only to ultimately come up short. And that's kind of the story of this match, too. It's like, they were putting over, like, what's going to happen to Ziggler now if he loses? And I'm like, if we were to show, if their NXT was like not a actual third brand, and you could like grab old superstars from there, I'd like to see Ziggler on there. Actually, that would be kind of bad, because as Vexer and Drac has pointed out to me, SmackDown needs faces. Dental plan. Like really, who they? What is it? Because Cena wasn't coming to Backlash. She confirmed that. So it's Ziggler, Ambrose. That's why I thought it was weird they drafted Sami Zayn and Owens to the same show. Like, Zayn would have flourished on SmackDown. Like, he was getting, like, most of the bigger pops over Ambrose, in my opinion. He probably still is now. Like, you could have made him a fucking superstar. Like, Zayn Styles, come the fuck on, man. This was the one negative. The one thing that kept it from being super perfect, because Bray Wyatt, he gets his big pay-per-view win over Orton because he took him out, so he gets like a forfeit 10 count victory, and like we were hoping it would be like a Ty Dillinger to come out at the 10. Like Dragos was really pulling for Ty Dillinger. That would have been awesome. And he's like, okay, well if not here, maybe for the Rumble. And Husbando Goddess was like, please not Kane, please not Kane. I'm like, yeah, it's Kane. Yeah, it was a no-holds-barred match with the very first victim of the family, Kane. Sadly, no Luke Harper. I guess he's still out injury. Orton comes in to hit the RKO and allow King to win after this 50-50 booking that giveth and taketh a Bray. It was a good match. That's all you can really say about Bray versus King, in that it was good. It was like a no-holds-barred match, but they played it kind of safe-ish. Probably the shortest match on the card, I think. Just because it was like that last-minute booking like that. But anyway. The Usos, with their win earlier, takes on the one who was picked last at Proverbial Kickball, getting drafted to neither shows, and somehow turning into showing both brands with having to do battle with Lesnar and Orton that same week. He shows up during a Smackdown after Shane and Bryan totally took his contract away from him, the pricks. They decided, Slater, you get a partner and win this tournament to crown new tag team champions. Like, you gotta win this tournament. If you do, we'll give you a contract, but you gotta win. So the Usos continue to take place out of the Revival's notebook, i.e. cutting the ring in half, working on the legs, just adding their own flair to it. Like, they murk on Slater for quite a while, even heelishly kicking Rhino's hand away because he's holding it out for the tag, and they're just like, get that shit out of my face. Rhino tags in and roughshots him. They Olay away the gore. Slater gets a hot tag. You get a Slater cutter! You get a Slater cutter! Slater pulled to the outside before he gets the 3. He drops one of the Usos, but gets back in by the other and takes him out. Gore! Slater's just like, everyone in the call is like, come on, just roll over and hit him! Cover! 2, 3, new champions! Slater's gonna get employed! He's getting a double wide, baby! Holy shit, the entire room was marking out big time. I'm pretty sure the live crowd was just like, going ape shit for this one. Like, this is your Cinderella ending. Motherfucker came from, like, being, like, nothing! Like, he was, like I said, he was the perfect, like, he's the last person that got kicked in kickball, and he's like, oh, okay. Except nobody picked him anyway. You know, it's like getting, so it's even worse. Like, kickball, you would eventually get picked, but it's like, then you get past her, and it's like, oh, wait, so no one picks me? It's like, teams are good. You just go home and play, play on the swing set. It's just like, oh. And now he's, like, tag team champions with Rhino. Oh, man. So that was like a super feel-good moment. Speaking of super feel-good moments, main events! AJ Styles, like I said, the new face that runs the place, beating Cena clean last pay-per-view, then beats Dolph Ziggler the next SmackDown, become your new number 1 contender for Dean Ambrose's title, which is where we're at now. Who the latter has been receiving, like I said, some complaints about complacency. Like, he seemed to go a bit downhill ever since that amazing 5-star brawl with fucking Triple H as the WWE champion at the time. But he's defending against AJ Styles, who's been calling himself the new face that runs the place, because he's been like, where's my trophy? Like, I beat Cena, now he has like his armband, and he's been wearing that for a while. Sometimes he'll put it on his head and look like weird, like creepy hippie AJ Styles. It's like, I believe in Cena. Christopher Daniels. Damn it, it's not even AJ. My God, you take a frickin'... My name's AJ Styles. You don't like Big Lee Tune. Fuck you. I'm from Gainesville, Florida. No, Georgia, sorry. Wow, the crowd was like not on Ambrose's side for this one, because they know fucking AJ Styles, and they know he's awesome, and they know they will get awesome with him. Like, if you're gonna get complacent, say AJ's gonna drag you through having a good fucking match. Dracker Vex pointed out that the success of AJ is all his signatures and all his finishers. They're really quick because he's got the phenomenal forearm, he's got the calf crusher, snap submission like there, and then he's got the Styles Clash. It's all like, well, that's not super quick on offense, but I don't see anybody like fighting out of it at all. I haven't seen it yet. And the Styles Clash is usually the big one. That's usually reserved for the kill. That's how he beat Cena. He hit him with the Styles Clash and was like, well, it's Cena. He's gonna get up, so let me hit the forearm and also on top of that, and then get rid of him. Like, that's what it took to take Cena down. AJ fucking Styles, NWA champion, TNA champion, New Japan Pro Wrestling champion, and now, not even a year in the company, he truly has become the face that runs the place. So, let's see, Raw. Kevin Owens, formerly Kevin Steen, who claimed he made Ring of Honor and predicted he'd be champion of the universe about 5 years to the date. That's why I did that reenactment there. Nakamura, strong style of New Japan Pro Wrestling, now NXT champion, that massacred Samoa fucking Joe into being unable to compete for a while. Like, god damn, you get some notoriety on your... Wow. And now one of the originals at TNA makes his way to the WWE World Championship. That's the one with like all the people behind it, not the fucking fruit roll up made up title that just was like Owens, even though it's just like like taking nothing away from Owens, but that's still like, you know, that's brand spanking new. That's like barely out of the he's like, but he's still like 13 times longer than the last champion. I think that's what Jericho said. He's like, this is your longest reigning. I'm like, oh, I fucking love Jericho. So yeah, WWE is down with OPP. In which case that means other people's promotions. But yeah, I had fun. And even fucking Tyler Breeze took to Twitter and was like, well, fucking follow that, Raw. So I'm like, yeah. Shrooming Bludgeoning Shroom on Twitter, like, that person's been like putting up he does like all the, that's the person who did the the Power of Shane, the Shane McMahon card when we did the wolf tap. Like we did, it was like, oh, it was really cool. So he's doing like all the like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and he updated quite a bit. Like that person's been given like, let's see, like who wins this week, like Raw or SmackDown, and a lot of it's been SmackDown, and it's kind of unfair to Raw, mostly because when SmackDown has a bad segment, it's just a bad segment. When Raw has a bad segment, they realize they have a whole other fucking hour to fill, and yeah, oh god, the old day. Like, it fooled me into thinking, because the beginning was like, don't you dare miss hour. Like, I'm like, okay, that's kind of funny. Like, and then you remember you're watching Raw and they gotta fill this shit out. I'm like, oh god. The New Day, I swear the New Day's gonna be champion for another 360 days. Like, who do they have? Like, SmackDown's got all the tag teams, but no faces, and Raw's the other way around, and they're getting the cruiserweights. I kind of want to see I hope to see one or two cruiserweights, like, come down. Like, we've been talking Jack Gallagher to be with the vaudevillains, and kind of like if they can't be heels, it could be like, fisticuffs. Because they need someone to get over, and Jack Gallagher's a fucking, that guy's amazing. I keep reminding me, I still gotta watch the Cruiserweight Classic. I've only done like the first round where the fucking final form reached of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Like, holy shit! Like, put over like these guys, they have the match, and this was before the title match. Like, this is like, let's go out there and let's, amazing stuff. I still gotta watch that. I know they're doing 2 hours live the finale, because they're doing the semis and then the final. So I got a lot of catching up to do. But in any case, that was Backlash, and I had a lot of fun. And once again, SmackDown proving less is more, because there was only like a couple matches, and they ended, I think, like 20-30 minutes before it was like 11. But yeah, it was, overall, it was a success. And I know we're going to be doing it again in another 2 weeks. Fucking Clash of Champions. And then October, fucking No Mercy returns. Like, the best N64 game ever, as long as you were okay with your saves not being constantly wiped from you. I don't know. I guess they did like maybe they did like a thing where it's they trade in, you get a new cartridge that doesn't do that. I just remember, like, my memories of N64 was getting memory wiped of things. It was that, and like the first cartridges of Flying Dragon 64, which was, I played the fuck out of that game. But yeah, applause. Nicely done. See you again in 2 weeks, God. 19 pay-per-views. Take care.